Let's see. How do I do this? How do I do this? Oh, good Lord. Give me 1 second. Let's see. We're just going to share the video and then we can continue. Okay, there you go. Did that. I love having a Mac, but at the same time, it's eh. It's eh. It's alright. It's alright. Let's see. Here we go. Let's share here. Okay, so tonight's going to be very interesting. And I waited, sorry, my eye itch. I waited to do this live because I wanted to see what the Glass Palace was going to give me. And like I predicted, of course, the Glass Palace is going to protect themselves. They could care less, but they're going to protect themselves. And there's a couple things I do want to speak about. I know it's been a while. I know TMEA was last week. I am still in TMEA, what we like to call it TMEA depression mode, because once you're there and you're surrounded by everything, it's probably one of the most funnest, it's not a word, but still, conventions. Excuse me. Now, I had not been at TMEA in years. I have not been since 2022. That was the last time I went, and I wasn't I did not I went, and I kind of regret. The only thing I regret about that trip is that I didn't go camp out for UT. UT Wind Ensemble has been the wind ensemble that I have loved for years. They are like the people I look up to. Like, that is, my opinion, one of the best collegiate wind ensembles out there. I missed that performance, and I was so mad at myself because they were playing Pines of Rome, but they had the Cavaliers playing with them as the Antin Fiddle Brass, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm missing that. I was upset that I missed that, and some of my friends that were students at the university, they even got kicked out because there was no room, and I was so lucky to find seats where I did, and they were telling us, like, hey, everybody needs to squeeze in, sit where, if there's an empty seat, fill it, because we're gonna have the fire marshal come and shut us down. And I'm like, oh, come on. The one time I actually get in line, which by the time I got in line, it was literally halfway down the hall of the convention center. I didn't think I was gonna get in, but I did. Thank the good Lord. And it was an amazing performance. Like, I finally lived out my dream of watching the UT Wind Ensemble. And then, of course, obviously, I did attend the Stillman concert. I did not, unfortunately, get to attend the Garcia concert. And I did attend two of my former students from a school I used to teach. I did attend their performances, and I am amazed. I will always be amazed at how well these students, and in general, once they put them together with the conductor, they put a concert together in less than 3 days, and they don't play Mary Had a Little Lamb. They play some of the most difficult repertoire for band and for orchestra, and they pull it off very, very well. I was very glad to have been able to go see that. I would have gone to some rehearsals, but I was also, I don't know if it's me just getting used to, like, I gotta be on top of, if I feel like I'm having a down moment, I gotta have sugar or something, or I just felt exhausted. So because of the diabetes, I was a little sick. I felt a little sick, but I made a promise that I was gonna go and watch those performances, and I did. Stillman did amazing, 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 amazing. Their guest conductor was actually my first band director in high school. Amazing, Mr. Adam Kramer. And then they had one of their more prestigious alumni, Michael Gonzalez, who's the drummer for the podcast Kill Tony, and they're touring all over the world right now. And he was a student coming from BISD. Like, it's amazing what BISD can do, fine arts, everything. And the one thing that kind of did upset me, I mean, I walked out right before they announced them, but I didn't see them stand up. I could be wrong. At the Stillman performance, I did not see board members in the soup, but they could have been there because with medication, I was having to leave certain places pretty quickly. So when I came back, I didn't even see them when I walked in. So I'm like, the first jazz band in BISD history to get invited. Their administration was there, their principal, everything. They were there. Fabulous. I know Miss Benita was at the Garcia concert, and so was Obed. I know Obed was there from what I saw or heard. Even though there's a video, I mean, there's a video circulating about him that isn't the best, but I mean, it is what it is. But at least their school administration was there to applaud them. That's amazing. I don't know if top brass from the Glass Palace, I hear hello, were there. I didn't see any pictures of them, but all in all, I'm very proud of all the BISD all staters that made it, both choir and band, because that just further proves that aside from CTE, BISD is known for fine arts. Very few athletic. I think the only thing athletic wise that BISD is known for right now is having an ineligible player play. Yet they get all the funding, but I digress. Now, this past board meeting was very interesting. While I was enjoying my dinner, I was watching both the facilities committee meeting and the special called board meeting. Now, I meant it when I said, should we start pooling, making a, como se dice, a price picks pool to see if one of the properties that BISD was going to choose for CT was the Morrison property. I was like, let's put some bets here. I would have done it. I mean, probably it's legal, but I mean, hey, would have done it. And wouldn't you know, they were one of the properties. The Morrison property was listed. And here's the thing. I'm glad that they didn't do it, and I'm glad right now, because we still need a performing arts center. I mean, Ed Caltelsa, Westaco, Donna, PSJ, McAllen have their own, yet we can't have it. It's all your fault, Three Amigos. But anyway, so the one thing that I was like, yes, I'm glad they shared this information. I didn't realize that it would have been more expensive to build on the site of Morrison than anything else. Let's see here. This is the post I shared. I shared the screenshot from the meeting. It would have cost, from what the presentation people were saying, almost over $1 million just for infrastructure, because they would need, aside from water line, electricity, they would have to do a lot of work to get the water line here and electricity, and it's in a major freaking flood zone. They're in a flood zone. Morrison floods like it's the freaking Rio Grande. So can you imagine this? I mean, yes, they would have like raised it, but still, like a lot of the trade-offs or the cons were a lot more than the benefits. And the main one, aside from the significant flooding, can I zoom in on this thingy? Oh, I can. Hi. Right there. I thought there was going to be no pack. Right there. Mira, qué bonito. Let's zoom in so it looks beautiful. I thought there was going to be no pack. Three amigas. I thought there was never mention of a pack. Did you all get caught in a lie again? Are you guys going to pull the presentation again and indirectly call us idiots again, Jessica? Because you kind of did. So, I thought there was no pack. Come on. Pack would not fit on this site if CTE is built on it. Okay. So, I think they went with like the first choice of whatever their first choice was. I don't remember what it was, to be honest. I really don't. I don't remember what the first choice was, but they were like voting on it and stuff. They were voting on it and all this, and not voting, but the people who were presenting were suggesting that I think it was the Sportsplex, which is it's literally the corner of San Marcelo and Jose Marti Boulevard, which is the country club. And I understand like the cons of that one, like parking and driving and all that stuff. I get it. But that's the one that they suggested highly because it would be easier. Okay, fine. And I had a feeling they were going to put the pack on there. But aside from all of that, and I want to applaud, and I want to clarify this very, very well. I want to clarify this. Thank you. I know people don't like them. AKA Three Amigos. Thank you to Miss Minerva Peña and Mr. Carlos Elizondo for asking the damn questions that needed to be asked that night, and for calling out who needed to be called out. Whether it was subtle, it was subtle. All right, that was a car that passed by with like really messed up motor. But anyway, thank you, and I mean this. If I had to wipe out the entire board, like you're fired, all this, the only two people I'd keep is Carlos and Minerva. Whether you like them or not, they're the only ones that ask the questions that need to be asked. Do you see Grantland asking the questions that Minerva and Carlos ask? No. I can't really even talk about the Three Amigas because they don't ask the damn questions. They follow their leader, Nepo Baby. Does Frank ask the questions? Probably right now, because he's up for re-election. Superintendent just sits there, and to me, when he just sits there and watches them battle it out, it's just like, who's gonna... Let's see when the Rosa de Guadalupe fights and the Lara Bozo fights are gonna happen. Is how I feel seeing the superintendent sit there. Now, what ticks me off about the board, and I'm not gonna put Miss Grantlin and Frank in this, but it is very evident. I'll put the superintendent in this, that the three amigas and their puppet of a superintendent do not, and I mean it, do not respect Minerva and Carlos at all. And it's true. What Minerva said. One, thank you for calling out the superintendent and asking why is there a rush to vote for, we need to pick a property. Yeah, you rushed for Resaca. What? It's been 5 years and they're almost, I don't know how, they're $5 million something in the hole because they still can't even go in. So thank you to Miss Minerva Peña for being the voice of all of us and saying, what the hell is the rush in picking a property? And it's true. I think they need to go out and look somewhere else. Or, hey, one of the campuses you didn't sell because you closed it, why not renovate it, refurnish it and stuff? Garza's just sitting there. I mean, you're wasting the electricity still there. Why not use that as a CTE facility? You can renovate the campus, all this, and blah, 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 whatever, fine. But they want fancy, new, shiny, and everything. I didn't even know there was a CTE high school coming into Brownsville, which I'm going to look this up real quick. CTE. According to Frank, there is a CTE high school coming to Brownsville. I don't see anything here. The only thing I've seen that's going to happen as far as expansion is that idea on Paredes is supposed to get bigger, which I don't know how much bigger they can get, but they can. So, why not look at the campuses that you were forced to close? You already have the plumbing there. You already have electricity there. Why are you going to go and it's true. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Respect, sir. I thank you for asking and questioning why the hell would they want to put a CTE building next to a sewer plant, an active sewer plant? When they start when whoever the hell that the surveying and stuff, when they started mentioning the wind direction and stuff that it would never smell, it doesn't matter. It could be windy, it could be snowing, it could be hot, it could be whatever. If you pass by on East Avenue, that sewer plant, you smell it, even if it's not windy. So, what makes you think they're not going to smell it there? Like, they, senor, stink. But they weren't. I'm so glad that Carlos called that out. I'm so glad Carlos actually also called out that it felt like they were being rushed to decide, we want to do this one. No. And I loved, and like I said, y'all don't need to like him. You don't even need to be friends with him. But respect the fact that him and Minerva are asking the questions on behalf of the teachers that teachers want to ask, but they can't because of why? Retribution. Because we all know HR and BISD is known for that. Carlos asked about, one, why was the rush? Two, they mentioned money. They were talking about money. And we'll get to money. And he mentioned the fact that BISD was in the hole, almost a couple $1 million, whatever. And then all of a sudden, BISD found the $20 million and we're not in the hole now. And he's like, I wonder whose drawer that was in. I was like, oh, yes, sir. If I had my air horn, I'd be like, because, I mean, where did that $20 million come from? From what I read last time, it was from taxes, whatever. And and he's like, maybe we can find another $20 million or whatever to give to CTE. And it was so funny. As quick as Daniela answered Carlos, I already spoke to legal about this, but the redfish check that she's getting through BISD is how quick as the superintendent said, It was not in anybody's desk drawer. And I can tell you where where CTE can get money for their new building? Take the superintendent's salary away. Y'all are paying him. We're paying him because of tax. Over 6 figures to sit at his desk in the Glass Palace. Or, from what I've heard, he's not even showing up to work. Because I'm going to retire. I don't care. June me voy, bueno, bye. He's collecting a 6-figure check just to sit. Take his salary. He don't need it. He's already pocketing money there, plus his retirement. So he don't need no money. So take his salary to fund the building for CTE. So it's just disgusting how the 3 amigas and their puppet do not respect Minerva and Carlos, but yet they demand respect como si nada. And it's true, Minerva said, because she asked the question on behalf to legal, and I think she did it on behalf of Mr. Elizondo. When they say call to question, is that supposed to actually like cut off whoever's speaking and go to the board member? The attorney kind of said yes. And the other's just like, look, ugh. It's like, okay, because I'm asking because it's happened before where I say call to question and I ask my question. These ladies here do not allow me to answer my question. And it's true. They do that. And they do that to Carlos. But yet they want them to bow down. No. Denise, you're running for city, whatever, county, whatever the heck you're running for. Jessica, you act all high and mighty, but hijita de mi vida, you're not better than anybody else. Trust me. Neither are you, Nepo baby, but specifically you, Jessica. I still don't appreciate the fact that in a public meeting, you basically indirectly called the community stupid and dumb. All 3 of you did. But it was mainly you. And micromanaging the superintendent, he needs to be micromanaged. What has he done aside from being your puppet, Jessica? I don't see any more CTE programs. I don't see any more funding for not just CTE, but for fine arts, but for the testing subjects and all the other teachers and other departments. Do you see that? Have you seen him actively trying to recruit to get BISD back to the powerhouse that it once was? No. Those commercials are pathetic. They are. The fact that you're forcing middle school bands and high school bands to do 2 to 3 parades? What the heck? The Saturday parade doesn't need every single BISD band to be out there. They're being stretched between 3 days of trial days. Some bands are having to do 2 spread out throughout the 3 days. Come on. I think the other thing that, Jessica, I thought this was very low that you said is that when they were talking about CTE and all this before you guys adjourned, is that you mentioned, well, our bond didn't pass, so we aren't able to do the CTE building like with all the money that we need and this and that. Man, your bailout loan failed because you failed to tell us what it is. A bailout loan. That was going to raise our taxes. I mean, it would have raised your taxes just like it raised mine because, yeah, it would have. So that I thought was like a little tasteless from her end. And what I want to know is, what is the timeline of finding the superintendent? Because you guys voted yes in it. I know it was in closed session, so, I mean, we can't see that. But I want to know what the timeline is. Because there are rumors that they want to bring back the former top assistant who's at Alice ISD. She's the superintendent there of Renee. They want to bring her back as the superintendent. I've heard they want to bring back Zendejas as a superintendent. And I think that's it. But those two. Why would we bring somebody back that was that put us in this hole? One of Renee's little posse leaders, whatever you want to call them. Why would we do that? And Zendejas is a little iffy. The only reason why I'm saying it's a little iffy because again, there's proof that she did say, "Oh, fine arts, performing arts, and all of this." But I didn't really pay attention to the district at that point when she was there. I don't know if that was the whole Sylvia Atkinson situation, but anyway. So, but I just think as far as superintendent, you need to do a nationwide search. Not, oh, we need to bring somebody that's from, no. Bring somebody that's familiar with the area, but not a compadre of the district. Really? You're going to want to bring in the same trash? Like, no offense to Miss Endejas and the other lady, but you really want to bring in the same crap? Do a national search. Interview people that are qualified. Not people who know Nepo Baby. Not people who know Denise Garza. Not people who know Jessica. Not people that know anybody on the board or within Bisd. Somebody completely from outside. Because I guarantee you, if the three amigas have it their way, they would bring back Renee. Hell, they would. And then we're back to square one again. So I think it needs to be somebody that nobody on the board knows. Not personally. Not Minerva, not Carlos, not anybody on the board. None of them. They all need to not know this person. Just know them by their they get their resume, qualifications, all that BS, all that good stuff. Yeah. They need to not be tied to anybody on the board, specifically the three amigas. Because if they're tied to the three amigas, we're screwed. The district is screwed. I'm sorry. They are. They're going to have a little puppet. And then you're going to have the same two people who are asking the questions on behalf of teachers and students in the community get disrespected like they do every single time. And to be honest, looking back at it, it kind of looks like those three are trying to push them out. I'm sorry. But if previous people could, I'm not saying if it hasn't worked yet, what makes you think it's going to work now? Nepo Baby. What makes you think it's going to work now? So, it's insane. It's insane that, like I said, y'all don't need to respect Carlos and Minerva. You don't need to like them personally. But if you want them to respect you, you need to respect them. And you three ladies do not respect them whatsoever. You don't. And it's very, very noticeable. And shame on the superintendent, Mr. Chavez, for not saying anything, sir. You're there. You see it. You let them catfight. That's disgusting. But yeah, they need to, okay, you want to finish your contract? Okay, stay at home, but we keep your salary because you don't need it. You don't need your salary. But yeah, that was the board meeting, Tammy. Now, the reason why I took a good minute to do this live was because I wanted to wait on some information. Public information request. We're going to show you the email that I sent. Sorry, I had to laugh. Sorry. All right. I'm going to look for the email that I sent. Ay, santo Dios. Okay, here we go. So, we're going to look at the information that I have requested. Let's see. There you go. So, we love public records because we just do. All right. So I zoomed it in too much. But anyway. Okay. So on February 10th, literally the day before I left for TMEA, because I left for TMEA. What month are we? I left for TMEA the 11th, and I sent it the day before. Haha. So I sent it to them. Good afternoon. I am asking for the following information as it relates to CTE. 1. The requirements to attend CTE classes at the Cummings campus. 2. How many students per campus are allowed to attend classes at the Cummings campus? 3. Transportation and breakfast offered to students at the campus, obviously. And the CTE budgeting beginning from, and I will say this, Dr. Juan Chavez Jr. all the way to the present. So, naturally, they're going to take their sweet time. And I was supposed to get it tomorrow. Well, I got it today. So we saw what I asked for, right? Very simple. What they sent me was just to shut me up. To be honest, it was. It was just to shut me up. Now, I'm going to pull up the email on my other things so I can see what I'm... So, I asked for the first thing I asked for was the requirements to attend CT classes at the Cumming campus. They gave me the prerequisites. Okay, because I mean, there's prerequisites for there's different fields that they study and all that good stuff. So let me zoom it in. Okay, so let's read this. Dear Miss T, this email responds to your public information request regarding CTE programs. The information below is provided in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act. Yada, yada, yada. Bunch of legal jargon. 1. Requirements to attend CTE classes at the Cumming campus. Per the 2025-2026 course listing guide, the prerequisites, the program of study, and certain courses have recommended or TA required prerequisites. Programs follow a sentence to ensure students meet all objectives, knowledge, and skills. Okay. Program of study. The CPOs provide information regarding endorsements, program availability, course sequences, substitutions, and course numbers. CT Certification Center enrollment. Students may submit course requests during the choice slip window. Enrollment requires meeting program-specific criteria. Campus CPLs coordinate scheduling with the CTE Center. That is extremely vague, and I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with that. Programs offered: 1-year programs, 12th grade, EMT, patient care, pharmacy tech, certified personal trainer. I didn't even know they had that one, but hey, cool. 2-year programs, 11th and 12th, cosmetology, pipe fitting and welding, electrical technology. 2, student capacity. We'll just leave that there. Okay, let's keep going. Transportation and breakfast. Woo. Transportation is provided for students attending from all BISD high schools, and breakfast is provided daily for participating students. We got some problems with that too. And here we go. The budget from 2017 to now. Now, we're going to discuss some things. Number one, the reason why, let me see if can I highlight this? That is vague because that makes it seem that CPOs can cherry pick students into sending them to Cummings. Oh, let's say one student, they're like this and this and this, like they have everything amazing, beautiful, and they want to do this. Okay, we're gonna send them. But yet you have a student who is not as accomplished, but they're hardworking, they study, all that good stuff, and they want to go to a CTE program that is at Cummings. But you don't send them. Why? What if they did meet the prerequisites? What if they met everything and they chose the same program as this other student who looks picture perfect? They met the same prerequisites and everything as this one. But yet, they're from the same campus, let's say. But yet you send that one instead of this one. Do you know how bad that looks? Now, programs offered, hey, that just looks wrong. And this makes it seem to me, not as a future board member con el favor de Dios, but as a public individual, as a private individual, citizen, whatever you want to call it, this makes it look like they're cherry picking who they send to Cummings when they decide. And I'm going to get to why I'm saying that. Programs offered, hey, I think these are great programs to offer, especially down here. EMTs, I mean, they're always needing EMTs with the fire department, whether here or outside of Brownsville. Patient care technicians are always needing them at the hospital. Pharmacy techs, I mean, hey, and personal trainer, I mean, that one I'm not sure because, I mean, I didn't even know they had that. But as far as the 2-year programs, cosmetology, hey, do you know how much it is to go to cosmetology school? This will save kids a bunch of money. So by the time they leave certified, they can go and work in a salon or a hair salon, nail salon, barber, a barbershop, already certified. That saves them money. Pipe fitting and welding. Hey, SpaceX is right here. And that, they don't have to spend money on welding school. They'll be already certified. All these programs, if kids could get certified here in BISD, that'll save them money and they can go out and work if they don't want to do college. They already have their trade. I think that's amazing. Now, this is where the problem I have is student capacity. It tells me the capacity of each program that they can accept only. Okay. But did I ask that? Really? What did I ask? Let's see. Present. I'm going to put stop screen real quick and I'm going to pull up the email again. What did I ask? When it came to that, I asked, how many students per campus are allowed to attend classes at Cummings? And what did they give me? They gave me a bunch of bullshit. Does that tell you how many students per campus are allowed in each of those programs? Or let's see. I guess we're going to have to do a little bit math. Doesn't make sense. Wait, hold on. How many? Let's see. How many schools are there? It's Hannah, Porter, Rivera, Lopez, Pace, Betts. Oh, 6. I need to divide it by 6. No sé por qué puse half. So 32 divided by 6. Yeah. 5.3 students. Really? Per campus? That doesn't make sense. That's not even. Same thing with the other programs. 8.3. If it's 50 divided by 6. How is that fair? Also, why couldn't they tell me how many kids per campus are going? I asked per campus. I didn't ask how many in each program. I didn't ask maximum enrollment. I asked per campus. Why couldn't you tell me? That's public information. You had since the 10th. Yet you couldn't put that on there? So you're telling me, for example, let's say I'll do EMT, which is a very nice certification to have. Because they make money. You're gonna tell me that, let's see, 32 divided by, I'm gonna put 5 kids. You're gonna tell me that if I were to deep dive into this, or when I'm on the board and when I put to investigate what the hell happened in CTE, I asked this question when I asked call for an investigation into CT as to asking what the hell happened, and I'll get to that. That there's 5 kids from each campus there? Whether it's 5 kids from each campus for EMT, or 8 kids from each campus on the other programs. You think that's going to be fair? I don't think so. Because why couldn't you be transparent about that? Or you're wanting to hide something? To me, it seems you're cherry picking the programs from preferred high schools. Is what I think you're doing. That I think that if whoever's in charge at CT, like if they know certain campuses, oh, I want kids from this campus, I want kids from this campus and this campus, oh, but I don't want kids from here, whatever. That's what it also feels like to me. I think every student, if they meet the prerequisites, if there's more than 5 kids at each campus, okay, you gotta nail it down to certain things, whether it's the application process, whatever it is. They couldn't even tell me that. But if there's an application process, okay, have them do an essay, and then there we go. But you have to pick kids from each campus. You're not doing that. You're not. Is how I feel. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I become a board member, I will call for an investigation into CTE. And this is why. Now, here's the other thing I have an issue. They provide transportation for students attending from all BISD high schools. That is a lie. That is a lie. And this is why I say it's a lie. They have 6 buses, okay? 1 for each campus. If that's true, fine, cool, whatever. You're going to tell me. Let's see. Will they fit on the bus? Yes. But in the last board meeting that they had, and in previous board meetings, it has been said by CTE that the kids have to drive themselves there. What if the parents can't drive them to Cummings and then back to their home campus? Because whether the Glass Palace likes to think or not, parents work. Unlike the 3 amigas. You said that you wouldn't provide transportation. Here's the other thing. Breakfast provided daily for participating students. Isn't it true that in another previous board meeting, which is kind of hard to find because since we no longer have YouTube, thank you, Mr. Elizondo, for calling that out as well. It's hard to find those board meetings. But didn't y'all say in a previous board meeting that breakfast was no longer provided at Cummings? And what you're having them do, please think. I'd like for the Glass Palace to think for once. Please tell me if this is logical. I'm a parent. If my kid still would have been here in Bisd, which she is not, if she was going to Cummings, I'd have to get up, take her to Pace, wait outside Pace for her to eat her dang piggies in a blanket or the biscuit or whatever they serve for the day. Wait for her to come outside. I have to sign her out, drive to Cummings, wait at Cummings, then drive her back to Pace. Does that seem logical? No. Granted, I'm not employed, so it would be a little, easy. But what about the average parent that does work? What if kids don't know how to drive? Yet you're forcing them to drive themselves to Cummings? Why are you saying that you provide transportation when you've said in the past that you don't? Yet when I go down 6th Street, whenever I have to go handle business in that area, Cummings is packed with buses. You're telling me you can't provide? Oh, it's because of the schedule of the CTEs, classes and stuff. Again, I understand schedules and all that. I get it. But you're going to tell me that y'all can't provide buses? Or is it because you guys, as BIC, short on bus drivers, which I've heard that they are? So yeah, that was a lie. Now, the big thing that everybody likes to talk about in BISD, point. The point. The dinero. I asked for what the budget was for CTE. And I will say doctor because, I don't know this person, but I kind of have a little bit more respect for him than Jesus Chavez. But I asked for the CTE budget from Dr. Juan Chavez all the way to now. And yes, I know, and I have heard that TTE is well funded. Okay, so we'll go down the list. I ain't going to say the full number because there's too many numbers to read. 2017, 2018, when they shared $16.2 million. The next year, $17.7 million. Next year, $19.2 million. Next year, each year, $16.024 million. Then the next year, $16.9. Then when Benita took over, she inherited a mess, and I'll say it was a mess, $14.8 million. And then the next 2 years, it was between $12.7 and $12.9 million. And then now it is $13.4 million. And Now that sounds like a lot of muntees and a lot of quite. But in reality, it's not. Yes, CT was known to be very well funded, and rightfully so. Why? Because they are training people. They're doing at the high school level. They're training trades that those kids, if they're not able to go to college for whatever reason, by the time they graduate, they can get hired in the medical field, the welding field, the cosmetology field, all the fields that they have. But this is where I'd like to. The budget fluctuates. Also, when exclude Dorset, when Dr. Chavez was the CT administrator, there was rumors that there was mismanagement of money. And what happened? He was allowed to leave and resign with nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. I believe he's either an idea or a STISD. It's one of those two. But in any case, there was rumors that he mismanaged money. But like everything, BISD is puro compadre. Oh, if we know that you mismanage money, but either we go after you or we'll give you a slap on the wrist and you can resign and peaceful and go off into the wind like nothing. Of course, he's going to decide to do that. Why was there no investigation into CTE then when he left? And if there was, why was it not made public at a public board meeting? What? Did you all not want the actual board members for the public, for the teachers, Minerva and Carlos, to grill you guys again? Just like they grilled and asked why CTE still has to kick up millions of dollars to the Glass Palace? Were you afraid that they were going to ask, where did this money go while he was in, if it's true that he mishandled money? What happened to this money? What happened to this? What happened to that? Were you scared that they were going to do that? Because the other ones won't. Neither will Travis, because he don't give a damn. He's making 6 figures. He don't care. Why was there no investigation? The minute that there was money issues, they should have investigated him. But no. Why? I guarantee he was probably comadres and compadres with one of the head honchos in the Glass Palace, and that's why they give him the slap on the wrist. Now, Benita. Oh, shoot. Someone's asking. Almost. An hour in. Sorry. So somebody asked me. I told them I was going to go live, but I forgot to tell them I was going live. But anyway, so if the rumor was true that Dr. Juan Chavez mismanaged money, why was there no investigation? And if it wasn't, if there was, why was it not made public at a board meeting? One, I'm pretty sure y'all was scared to get your butts handed to you by the questioning of Carlos and Minerva. 2, y'all were probably afraid to get the backlash like they did with the bond from the public, because at the end of the day, it's our kids that are in those programs. Let's see. I'm going to send something to someone real quick. Because, let's see. They're like, send me the link. I'll send you the link right now. Relax, people. Let's see. Okay. I take off my glasses. I can't see. I put on my glasses. I can't see. Oh, good Lord. Let me copy paste. There. So if I become board member, if I have, I mean, I'd have to obviously follow the rule book and stuff. I mean, there's nothing we can do to him now because he's like sayonara. But I'd like to call an audit and an investigation into CTE the years that Chavez was in power or was a CTE administrator, the head person, whatever you want to call him. I'd like to do that because I'd like to see if the rumors are true that he mismanaged money. Why was he allowed to go away like nothing with no reprimand, no repercussions, nada? Now, Benita took over in 2022. Obviously, she inherited a mess. Benita did, from what I've heard, an amazing job before she got moved. She did amazing. And then Mr. Dorset's there right now. And yes, the budget is a little off compared to previous years. Again, from here to now, it could be because of the mess that Travis left. It has lasting effects, so. But they're saying that's still a pretty good coin. But this is the thing that I have a problem with. I have heard that some programs from CTE were getting funded last year a good amount of money for supplies, almost in the $12,000 range per teacher for supplies. This isn't stipend, this is funding that they get from budget that they use to buy all their supplies, whether it's, let me go back to the programs because I gotta look at the programs. Whether it's personal trainers, whatever they use, cosmetology, if it's barbers, if they need to buy more new clippers, the scissors, all the stuff that barbers use, all the stuff that the hair people use, the acrylics. Is yes, I did at one point tried to buy acrylic to try to learn how to do nails. It's expensive. All of that stuff, everything that EMT needs, leads for the heart monitor, all that stuff for patient care, same thing. Welding, whatever they need, gas, fuel, the welding equipment, the helmets, all that stuff, electrical technology, whatever they need. 12,000 seems like a pretty good budget to fund for that they get in from funding to buy the stuff for their class. Now it cut in half to $6,000. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna use, because I ain't familiar with welding. I mean, I watch paracord clips because those videos are funny, but I'm gonna go from medical and cosmetology because I've had family members that have worked in the medical field, retired. They still keep up with it, and a pharmacy technician. They have to get all the whatever they need to, and cosmetology because I have friends that are in or either nail techs or there are barbers or stylists. Shout out to my barber, David. I need to go back with you because I need a haircut. But anyway, let's say it got cut to $6,000. Okay. And other programs within CTE also went down. Let's say $6,000 for medical. And this is not just supplies, like this is supplies funding, not just like pencils and all that stuff, but they have medical equipment that they need. The hell is a EMT teacher gonna buy with $6,000 medical equipment wise? When I used to have to buy leads for my mom when she had to have a heart monitor, those were expensive and they weren't covered by insurance. Patient care technicians, if they use leads for the heart, like the telemetry monitors, if they're teaching the kids how to use them and read them, or the EKG, if they're learning how to do that, or gauze, there's gloves, all the stuff that medical people need. What the hell are they going to buy with $6,000? Medical. Including, like, they need to buy their own copy paper, their pencils, all that stuff. Otherwise, cosmetology is not a cheap profession. Whether it's barber, nail, or hairstylist. You know how much clippers cost? The good ones? If I was a barber teacher, I want all my kids to have a premier set of clippers and scissors. And that way they're like, oh, I want my kids to work with the best. The same thing with hairstylists, the same thing with nail techs. Like, I want them to work with the best. I want them to, like, hairstylists, the best shears, the best blow dryers, irons, curling irons, the best paints, all that stuff, the best. Nail techs, the best brand for the nails, the best brand for acrylic, the best brand for gel, all that stuff. What the hell is half of the previous budget from funding going to do? What is $6,000 going to do? And apparently, there are other programs that went even down further in funding. Because what are they told at meetings? There's no money. There's no money. But yet, CT has to kick up to the Glass Palace. Now, if it was me, and at any meeting, whether it's professional development or those monthly meetings, whatever it's called, yada, yada, yada. If I'm being told at every meeting, if I ask, hey, I need to buy more leads because my kids are working on the heart monitors that are in the ambulance, or we're teaching them how to use how to map out the telemetry thing, or how to map out the EKG because they want to practice. I need more money for that. Or if, hey, whatever pharmacy technicians use, like the counts or how to count the pills or whatever they do. Cosmetology, again, what they need, welding, what they need, electrical technology, and certified person. If I was a teacher in one of those, and I were to go up to Dorset and I say, hey, can I just have a little bit more funding? Just for this, and I'll be set for the year because my kids are really wanting to practice and perfecting their craft on whatever I teach. And at every meeting I get told, in general, there's no funding, there's no funding, there's no funding, there's no funding, there's no funding. Do you think that's encouraging to any CTE teacher to continue to teach CTE and Bisd? No, it's not. If I were to hear that, I'll be like, okay, December, I'm gone. Because I understand funding is low. But again, if whatever we make with CTE should go to the CTE programs, shouldn't go to the greedy pockets of the Glass Palace, because who knows who's getting that money? Probably superintendent and probably a couple of the three amigas. I like to say some of the other supervisors, maybe the couple of other head honchos at the Glass Palace that are getting money from that. But why is CTE money not solely staying with CTE money? And why do I say that there's money, millions in the millions, getting kicked up to the Glass Palace? Because you all were called out on it at a previous board meeting by Minerva Peña. Because she didn't even know until it was presented. Why is CTE still having to kick money to the Glass Palace? It needs to stay in CTE. The greedy hands of the Glass Palace don't need no more money. Maybe if you did that, maybe you'd have a little bit more CTE programs to offer. But then again, there's no money to hire teachers. The district has no money. And yet you're telling your teachers at any CTE meeting, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. Again, What is a program? The programs that were funded at 12,000, or let's 12,000, and they were cut in half. What the hell are they supposed to buy with that? We all know medical, cosmetology, welding, and electrical technology is expensive. Are you going to reimburse teachers for buying supplies out of their own pockets, like the testing teachers have to do, or the other subject teachers? I'm saying testing, but everybody has to buy out of their own pocket. Are you going to reimburse them, CTE, or what? That's a long shot. That ain't going to happen. I mean, if Bisd don't like to reimburse anything, why are they going to reimburse CTE? A CTE teacher that is using their hard-earned money to make sure that their kids in any of the programs are having a quality education. But because the people at the top did not investigate into what the hell happened, these years, CTE is where it's at because of that. CTE was known to be funded big balling with mud teas, coins, money's going everywhere. But now you're cutting funding to each teacher to buy supplies by half or even more. Have you been to a medical supplies store to buy gauze? It's expensive. Have you been to a beauty supply store to buy acrylic? I have. I've been to a medical store. I've been to a beauty supply. Because yes, at one point I wanted to try to teach myself how to do nails, but no, that ain't gonna happen. Welding is expensive. I have nephews and cousins that are right now working for SpaceX. Their welding equipment is expensive. Yet SpaceX makes very good money. But anyway, electrical technology, whatever they have to do, nothing is cheap. Why is CTE in the hole that it is right now? If it has been investigated, what are the findings? Because, like I said, rumor is, and I personally think it just by seeing this, regardless of COVID, is that it happened around this time. And yet he was able to go free and unscathed and all that. I promise that if I become a board member, one of the first things I'm going to ask, obviously after reading the rules, because I know there's rules, is an investigation into the budgeting and the finances of CTE to see why funding for supplies is getting cut in half. What happened from 2017 to 2022 that now there's no money, and you're telling your teacher there's no money. Also, I will investigate how many kids per campus are really at Cummings. And I think they're afraid to say what the real number is, which is why they gave me that BS answer. But yeah. Yes, we've always known that CT has had the money coming in because again they teach trades. But they're just like English, math, social studies, all the other subjects teachers. They get funded for supplies, but yet because of mismanagement from prior administration, they're suffering right now. And I don't know any teachers in CT because I've never dealt with CT, but I've just heard rumors. I'm sure that they have amazing teachers at each campus and at Cummings. But how the hell do you expect them to work with half the previous budget and you want them to get everything for the year, whether it's pencil, paper, color, something that is for the classroom, plus the supplies for their program? How? How is, I mean, how has Nepo Baby not called an investigation into this? I'm sure Minerva and Carlos have, but like everything else, because they don't like that Minerva and Carlos call their bullshit out, the three amigas shut them up. Which is why, if I had to do a whole new board, the only people I'd keep are Carlos and Minerva. Because they're the only ones that ask these questions. And I really hope, I mean, I know I'm just a regular person, I'm no big influencer, but I really hope if they see this, that they call an investigation into it. And I'd like to see if CTE gets all this funding and they don't have to give up to the Glass Palace. Do you know how many more certifications that we can get with BISD? I mean, heck, my kid goes to medical professionals. Why? Because of the BS and BISD. I didn't want her here. Plus, and I'll get to this part of securities and the police. She saw the CPs were running the school and she didn't like it. So now that she's at medical professional, she loves it. They have the same certifications as here, except for cosmetology. How it is a high? Why can't a big school district not have ophthalmology MA? As big as BISD, why can't BISD have it? I'd like to have that. Hell, I'd like to have the food licensing, because they even have a food program at medical professionals. I'm sure Med High also has other programs too. Why can't we have that? Because of prior administration and the lack of oversight from the Glass Palace has caused this, and it needs to be investigated. Now that we're done with CTE, let's see. Let me close my window. Let's see. Now that we're done with CTE, I want to talk about from personal experience. Let me look up their picture, because we got to put the picture. I should have had it up. I know, but we don't know how big this picture is. Is that save image? No, we're gonna put this. Now we're gonna put image file. Let's talk about these people. The BISD Police and Security Department. Now, they recently got a new chief, captain. I think it's chief. Yeah, it's chief. They got a new chief. All hail for women in power. But from personal experience, when I've gone to either, excuse my language, when I go to leave stuff for donations, or if I go and visit a class or something, or when I've gone to pick up my kid when she was in BISD, I noticed something, and even when I was teaching, I noticed something very disturbing with BISD. Specifically, this department. Aside, I mean, BISD is just disturbed, but with this department, I've noticed, again, from picking up my child at school, from when I would go to campuses, all that stuff. At the high school, why on God's holy earth is there only one armed police officer at each campus? At the high school. Why? But yeah, you have the security, yes, but only one armed police officer per campus. Why? Y'all just got all this money approved. Why? I mean, if you had some left over from buying all the vehicles and stuff, why not put that into hiring more officers? How is it that Bisd PD, specifically PD, is higher paying than Progreso PD? I'm talking about the city. And Brownsville PD. It's higher paying, yet no one wants to apply. Why is that? I understand the chief is new and she wants to look good for the board and look good for the three amigas, because she knows if the three amigas don't fund, she's screwed, whatever. But why is nobody wanting to apply? And again, for a high school, I found out that there's only, aside from visiting, I found out there's only one armed officer per campus. Can you imagine how stressful that is? Well, they have the security guards there. I'm sorry, but the security, and this is where I'd like to also call a possible investigation into this department. Again, you're probably going to say, well, they have the security guard officers. I'm sorry. But any time that I've stepped foot in a high school while I was teaching or donating stuff for the band programs, the security guards are best friends with the cagapalos. Sorry for my language when I said that. The security guards are BFFs with the people who cause the problems. How do you expect and trust them to help the cops stop a fight or something? Or what happens? Let's say, what's the biggest high school in BISD? Ponle vets. I'm just going to say vets. What happens if there's a fight on one side of the campus and then World War V through 8 starts on the other side of the campus and security can't stop them? What the heck is that armed officer supposed to do? He can't split himself in half. He can't. What if he's trying to defuse the situation that was massive on this side of the campus, and then a security officer gets injured on the other side of the campus trying to stop the fight that the other CP started, and they run wild? What is he supposed to do? Tell these, ahorita vengo, I'll be right back, stay here, I'm gonna go defuse this, and I'm gonna come back and handle your thing. Can you imagine how stressful that is? Not only on security, but the police. And they're gonna call in backup. By the time, let's say vets, because it's the furthest campus. By the time they go from Hannah all the way to vets, really? Brownsville PD would get there faster than them. Or in that case, sheriff, because sheriff is that area. Why hasn't she put one more armed police officer at each campus? What is she waiting for? A freaking mass fight to happen? A freaking, I don't know, something really, really horrible to happen. Is she waiting for that? To be able to put another armed officer or two for that. Also, I get it. Securities are securities. But the problem is, too, that the kids know that security isn't going to do anything. Case in point, my last year of teaching, I was teaching at Pace. And I had to park at the band hall. Obviously, I had to go to the front to leave to go. I don't know where I was going, but I was going somewhere. And I saw kids jump the fence on the side and go to Oliveda Park. So when I got to the guard shack, I told the guard, I said, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'm a teacher." Like, they saw my badge and everything. I said, "Hey, I'm just stopping to tell you guys that, I mean, y'all can check the cameras on that building and the theater building or whatever." I said, "But that gate that's by the theater, several kids just jumped in and ran to Oliveda Park." What did the security officer do? "Oh, okay, we'll check it out. Whatever." So is that also to tell me, one, that the security guards don't care because they know the kids won't listen to them? Or there's also a lack of more security at schools? I don't know what this chief is waiting for, but ma'am, you need to do something about it before it gets worse. This isn't like the 1990s where all the high school kids son santos. I'm sorry, ma'am. Do you understand what age and time we live in? My niece's last year at Pace, at one of the buildings one of the buildings of the class that she was going to, some kids broke the glass on the door. What happened? The kids went back to class like nothing. They didn't get suspended. They didn't do anything. Security didn't drag them off. The cops didn't drag them off. Nothing. The kids know that security won't do anything. Do you understand how sad that is, ma'am? And again, the cops, the Bisd PD, I can't really say anything because they're already stretched thin. But again, what if something happens on opposite ends of the campus? What is the armed officer supposed to do? Play paper, rock, scissors, or flip a coin on which one to go to? We're not going to go very far. When I worked in Donna, I was not there at the campus, but the secretary had told me about it because I was at the middle school. There was an incident where there was a massive fight at the front of the campus. And they had a couple of armed officers, but it was so massive that they had to call backup from main office. And a teacher ended up getting stabbed in the head with a pencil. And it took a bunch of officers to calm that fight down. Now, that teacher is fine now, from what I've heard. But if that's just a 2 high school town, here where there's 6 high schools, 7 if you include Bex, what if something like that happens? Is it going to take for a teacher to get injured or a student to get injured? And if that does happen, and either the teacher or whoever's working gets injured and they get called into a meeting with admin, is admin going to tell them, vas a tener que aguantarte? I mean, they did that with me. Are they going to tell the parent of a child, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's just we're low on security and officers, it happens"? Are you going to really tell the parent that? Again, you guys are like the 3rd or the 2nd most funded department, y'all. Y'all's salary is insane compared to Brownsville PD and to Versher Progreso. Why not have more officers, ma'am? You don't think that one officer at either Pace or Rivera, Porter, Lopez, Hannah, Vets, you don't think that when they go in, they're not thinking, please let it be a calm day so I don't have to stress out about going from one side to the other if there's a fight. Please let it just be a calm day. You don't think that they go into work like that? Hell, I would go into work like that if I was a cop with the district. So I think there needs to be an investigation into as far as why people are not applying and how come, and mainly at the high school I've seen it, security become best friends with the kids. Yes, so they can be on the kids' good side and they'll do whatever they say. Yes, but these are high school kids. They will take advantage of you. They will. So I hope. I know it's already going to be May. But I hope that for the next school year, there's at least 2 armed officers. And maybe train your security better. Because this is insane that when I've gone to the high schools, I only see 1 armed officer. With all the stuff that's happening, kids taking in vapes, kids taking in drugs, kids taking in, you see it on the news, kids taking in BB guns and knives. Why do we only have 1 armed officer? Hell, if it was me and we had enough officers for the high school and then the 1 for each middle school and 1 for each elementary, hell, I'd put 3 at each, 3 armed officers at each high school, plus the security. You see what the world is right now, yet the chief does nothing. She hasn't done anything as far as, oh, this is my plan for recruitment for more people and all this. My air freshener. What's her name? Chief Gausen? I think that's her. I think I said it. Chief Gausen, how come there's nothing? And it falls on you, ma'am. Because you're wanting to look good in front of the board, which, okay, fine. But the safety of our students matter. Not just looking good in front of these people. And looking at their website, there's commanders that are being split between, there's 1 commander being split between 2 clusters. Does it make sense? It doesn't. So yes, that is the mess that is CTE right now and the police department right now. It needs to get better. Again, if it doesn't happen now, I will make sure I do this once I'm a board member. That I call for an investigation into CTE, asking why funding was cut in half and what happened during the years of Dr. Thomas, and why the teachers, not only the teachers, the students are having to pay for and suffer for it now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the day. Oh, the other thing, the last tidbit that pissed me off. Let's see. No, not this. Here we go. The last thing that ticked me off today. Let's see here. I need to drink water. We'll go here. This piece of trash. That piece of trash. And yes, sir, you are a piece of trash. This piece of crap was a substitute teacher in Port Isabel ISD, Point Isabel ISD. He got sentenced to 30 years by Luis, with obviously Luis Saenz as the DA, in a child exploitation case. Count possession of child pornography, 500 visual depictions. Holy hell. 30 years in TDCJ. Possession of counts 2 through 4. Same thing. Children under 10 years of age, 20 years. Que bonito. 5 through 15. 10 through 15, Mensa? I can't read. So, oh! Sexual performance by a child under 14 years of age, 20 years. Count 16 through 21. Invasive visual recording. 2 years state jail on each count. So he's going away for a while. And this is from Luis Saenz post. This case involved a substitute teacher who recently recorded kindergarten students while they used the classroom restroom with the door open. The children were unaware that they were being recorded. The investigation began after a USB camera was discovered during remodeling at the defendant's residence. A subsequent search warrant revealed numerous videos and images depicting child sex abuse material. This is a deeply disturbing case involving a breach of trust against some of our most vulnerable children. Don Luis Saenz. Let this serve as a clear message. Anyone who exploits children will be aggressively prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Our office remains unwavering in its commitment to protecting children and holding offenders accountable. A bunch of bullshit! A bunch of bullshit. You put this piece of trash away for practically the rest of his life. Yet, oh, my arm. Yet, let's see, let's put this up. Yet you couldn't put this piece of trash away. Because he revoked his teaching license and probably talked. You're committed to the most vulnerable of our community? Again, I don't give a damn if this girl was 19 years old when it happened. In the state of Texas, sir, maybe you should read up TEA law. She was still a student. She could have been 40, and she is still considered a student. Yet you gave this piece of trash a slap on the wrist. What did he get again? He got... I don't know that again. He lost his license, thank the good Lord. TEA still hasn't updated it. He got... ¿Cómo se dice? He got at least 2 months in the 5-star Carrizales, a bunch of fines, a bunch of community service hours, and then the donation to a charity. Stay away from the girl for 8 years after you come out of Carrizales, and then do your 8-year probation. And then after 8 years, your record gets expunged. Really? From this to that other piece of trash, sir? You're not committed to upholding the safety and integrity of our schools and ensuring justice for students. This girl was 19. There was proof in text messages. She had all this proof. Yet you couldn't put the hammer down on this guy like you did with the other piece of trash. That, when I saw the substitute thing, that pissed me the off. Yes. What the substitute did was horrendous, and I'm glad he got the hammer handed down on him. But what makes Trujillo so different? I'm telling you, he spoke. He had to talk. He had to have talked. What I want to know is who did he give up? Who? Because to get that sweetheart of a deal, sir, you spoke. I'd like to know who he mentioned. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. It is, oh wow, already 10:41. It's almost past my bedtime. Well, it is past my bedtime. I am going to take my night medicines and I am going to go to sleep. I wish you all the best. Please be safe for Charo days. Don't do anything dumb. I don't want to see anybody on Brownsville PD blog spot. But yes, be safe. And I wish you guys an amazing, amazing Charo days weekend. And yeah, good night.